Hey everyone, welcome back. Jesse's Lane here. Just have a big update for you in the stock market. Obviously, I know I said that I was gonna come on and talk about DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub in my last video, but again, there's just so much going on in the stock market right now. I'll have to make another video about that another time. So let's get right into the stock market at the moment. We are seeing a huge decrease in the stock market. Basically for two different reasons, really. Number one, we're kind of seeing China shut down for the Olympics. And that's going to be a huge damper on the economy right now. Kind of already seen big supply chain issues already. This is just going to disrupt it even further. We're also seeing the Federal Reserve come in. And they're probably going to end up raising rates quite a few times. Probably are going to get that rate increase that we were expecting, and some banks even think four rate hikes this year, which is quite a bit. And I don't know if that's that rotation to small caps that I made a video about. I don't think that's going to actually end up happening just because of all the rate increases that the Federal Reserve is going to have to do, just because of all the supply chain issues, that sort of thing. So let's talk about what I believe is going to do really well for 2022. First thing that I really see, banks. So banks like Bank of America, obviously, JP Morgan, those big banks. Wells Fargo would be another one you could throw in there. I really see a big thing for banks with rates increasing, that sort of thing. We're seeing huge housing boom right now. My goodness. I mean, this is something that is just unbelievable. I don't know if you guys are looking into the market right now, but literally as soon as the house is on the market, boom, it's gone. I mean, seriously, within 24 hours, it is ridiculous. Me and my wife right now, we're actually looking for a house, and it is just insane, and it's so frustrating because you see something that you like and boom, I mean, it's literally gone. You don't have time to sleep on this kind of stuff. It is literally gone. So banks, I see big potential for, just with the economy kind of coming back, all that sort of stuff with the rate increases, banks are going to do really well, I think, in 2022. Now let's talk about some things that have sold off that I really like long term. These would be things, technology stocks. So like the NASDAQ, for instance, we see the NASDAQ, I believe that they're down like almost 13% from their all-time highs. So they're definitely in that correction territory. I really like, there's a lot of good companies here in the NASDAQ that I really want to talk about. And the first one that I would really like to talk about is Apple. So Apple, obviously everyone's heard of Apple. They're one of the big ones in the S&P 500. They just continue to crush earnings left and right. They just recently had a $3 trillion market cap, which is just insane. I mean, my goodness, this company is just huge. They're growing faster. You just can't keep them down right now. Obviously, with the little sell-off that we've seen, Apple is one that I really like for long term. Obviously, everyone knows it. A lot of people just buying these like AirPods, for instance. I mean, these things are just so small, ridiculously expensive. I know that I'm sure they're a great product, but the prices that people are willing to pay for these things is just unbelievable. I'm sure they're going to be able to raise prices with all this inflationary stuff going on, that they're going to be able to raise prices and they're just going to be doing just fine. So that's one that I really like, and I'm definitely going to be buying here really shortly. I do believe that we're going to be getting close to the bottom here of this correction for the NASDAQ. I don't know. I think that the Federal Reserve on Wednesday when they meet, they're going to end up calming markets quite a bit. And I think that's going to be, I do believe that they're going to just kind of calm the market down. Obviously, they know exactly what's going on with this correction probably going to happen. But I do believe Wednesday could be a big thing for the stock market. And I think we could see a little small rally. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going back to the moon, that sort of thing. But I do believe that we could see a small little rally. The Fed trying to calm things down. say that we're not going to, cause a recession by raising, rates so much, that sort of thing. So with that being said, I also believe that crypto could be a big one. Obviously, we've seen a huge sell-off in crypto. So things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, I do believe, just hit like 36,000 today. So that's one that it could definitely be one that you can look at. Ethereum as well. I do believe Ethereum hit like 2,700. So that's another one to keep an eye on. But I do believe that these could fall slightly more here in the next month or two. And that's really the reason why I made that video a little while back, saying that I wouldn't be buying until about this time, maybe even February. Just because I saw a lot of uncertainty coming. And obviously with my dividends coming in, that's actually going to be next week. So I'm going to be able to buy a lot more stocks. I'm not going to go, just move all that money and just straight into stocks. I'm definitely going to be just kind of nibbling a little bit at a time. So a little bit here if I see a nice little drop, that sort of thing. So now I do believe that some things that, another thing that I'm really looking to buy as well is Ford. So a lot of you know that I'm a huge bull fan of Ford. They've just got so many things going. They're amping up their Ford Lightning so much more, about ready to double production actually just this year. So I'm really a big fan of Ford, and they've sold off a little bit. So I'm definitely be buying some Ford. I do believe that they're around like $20 a share right now, which if you're looking, their all-time high was around 25. So they have sold off a little bit. Now, part of that is that some analysts are downgrading their projections for Ford, basically just because of the chip shortage, that sort of thing. So we could see supply chain issues worsen. So with China kind of locking down, that sort of thing for the Olympics, could really have a big effect on Ford. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. If they do end up having a lot more trouble, then this could drop quite a bit. It could be another good buying opportunity. So you just got to keep your eye on that. But the EV sector, we're seeing a huge sell-off. So especially ones with not really a high margin. So like Tesla, for instance, yes, they've sold off a little bit, but not near as much as the ones not really profitable right now. So things like Workhorse, that sort of thing. And the reason why I believe that these are selling off so much more than what kind of was predicted is because we're kind of seeing things fall apart. Like we're seeing Biden's Build Back Better. That's kind of falling apart, that sort of thing. So the EV credits, the $7,500 EV credits, just kind of, it's just uncertain right now. Are we going to get it or are we not? Are they going to pass something? What's going to happen exactly? So there's a lot of things right now that are just uncertainty in the market, and the markets just don't like uncertainty. So when you're going to see these things, especially things with low margin, these things are just going to get beaten to the ground. Now, do I believe this is going to last forever? No, because hedge funds, for instance, they're going to end up selling their shorts, especially if something does happen for these EV credits. There's going to be a lot more people wanting to go out and buy, EVs to get that credit. So just something to keep in mind. But me personally, I do believe something's going to get done for the Build Back Better. Now, obviously, it's not going to be something even close to the extent that they were talking about, a 1.8, nearly $2 trillion infrastructure package that they were talking about. So all this stuff, is leaving a lot of uncertainty. But I do believe something somewhere around $1 trillion is going to happen. And I believe EV tax credits are going to be in there. And that is exactly why I'm going to be buying a couple dips, especially on Workhorse. Another thing I'm going to be buying is Nikola. So Nikola, if you don't know Nikola, they definitely had a rough start. Well, obviously 2020, they had a great start. But 2021, they kind of had a lot of things with the SEC. They end up having to pay a $125 million fine for their former CEO that was pretty well just line of where they were at as a company. So they did have to have a big fine. But if you look at this company and where they're going, what they want to do, where their trajectories are going, it's a good stock. This is something that they just built a plant on Phoenix, Arizona. So this is a big player that we could really start seeing moves this year. So I like the trajectory of them. I'm definitely going to be buying some Nikola. And then another really, really speculative one that I really like is Idex. Now this is huge risk. I'm not recommending you buy this one at all. This is pure speculation. Now they do have a lot of good things. So they have a thing called Wave, and this is basically just going to be a charging port for like semis, for instance. You just drive underneath it and it starts charging your semis. So that's a big one that could be a huge potential, especially for like Tesla semis, that sort of thing. Now I know Tesla wants to build their own, but I do believe with this company, if you go and look at their videos of what they're going to be doing, that sort of thing, huge trajectory. I should say huge speculation, but if they do even half of what they want to do, this company will be big. And I love the trajectory of them if they can even do half of what they want to do. So IDEX is that one. Ideomics is what it's called. Now, they've been doing a lot of other things, but they are starting to get in the EV sector. And I love what they're going to try to do. So those are kind of the EV stocks that I'm looking at to buy, just in that area. So, and again, it's kind of another one that I'm looking at is Microsoft. So Microsoft, obviously everyone knows that. They just actually bought Activision, I believe it's what it's called. Obviously bought out Call of Duty, that sort of thing. So, and I just like all these things. Call of Duty's not going away anytime soon. Future growth of this company is going to be huge, I believe. Microsoft's just a huge company, and they're going to be doing great things for many years to come. And with the recent sell-off, my goodness, their valuation is pretty cheap right now, in my opinion. So again, just these high margin companies with big growth potential, I believe, are just going to be by far the best in 2022. So these are kind of the things that I'm looking at right now. Obviously, some of these speculation stocks, me expecting to get something done with these EV credits, that sort of thing. A lot of these companies are oversold though right now. If you just go in there and start shopping, start nibbling a little bit, it's a great time to start getting involved. If you just kind of been sitting on the sidelines, definitely recommend now to start buying some stocks. Now, obviously, don't go all in because there could be big potential for another market correction even further. So keep that in mind. But I do believe Wednesday we could start to see a small little rally. Obviously, no promises. They could be a lot more hawkish than expected, that sort of thing. So, but if you really like the way I kind of break this down, I know there's a lot of information out there. I'm going to get more and more comfortable in front of the camera. Definitely something still kind of is weird for me, but I will definitely get better. If you like all this stuff, just please subscribe to the channel, and I will definitely be bringing you a lot more content. So thanks for watching.